have nothing but fur all over me. Just another rough day. I try to call the VA and find out what's going on with my veteran benefits, and instead of them just giving me a straight answer, they say no, no, we have to delay and delay, and it's more paperwork. And if I ask any questions about it, it's Freedom of Information Act. And I understand that that's to protect my privacy. It's just, I don't understand why you can't give me a definitive answer. If you gave me a definitive answer, I could say, okay, well, I need to speak to my lawyer, or I need to start packing because if I have my veteran benefits, I'm just leaving America. There's no reason to leave, to leave without my veteran benefits. But if I do have my veteran benefits, then I leave. I can go to Canada and just live happily. Like, I hate America right now. I do. And I can't put on a happy face and say that it is okay for me to go through the sexual abuse that I under undertook under the United States Air Force. It's hard for me to even speak right now. I'm just so upset. And then I specifically requested a male operator in order to talk to someone about my VA benefits. And of course, things escalated. So I said, well, let me speak to a manager. And the manager was a female manager. And I just said, is that a female manager, yes or no? And she started speaking, and that just, I fucking hung up on her. It's just, I know she's trying to do her job, and before I would have been able to handle it, but I can't deal with that anymore. I can't deal with having women talk to me anymore, especially American women. I'm sorry, but you people are fucking cut off from speaking to me. I mean, you could speak to me online, you could speak to me through text, you could speak to me through email. You cannot speak to me in person. You cannot speak to me at all. After sexual abuse by the Master Sergeant Miranda, there is no way I would ever let a woman talk to me again. It's just not happening. And I know that that's not what people want to hear. They want to hear that there's music going on or whatnot. And I would love to get back to that. I would love to, just talk about music and not talk about my military sexual trauma, but it's hard for me. It's hard, and I know that I normally talk about environmental issues, but I have to talk about what's going on in my personal life. And in my personal life, I don't have one. I don't have friends. I don't have a partner. I don't have a family. Because of my MST and my PTSD, it precludes going out and engaging with people, because how can I engage with people if I can't even board a bus or a train? So here I am, and I know that I normally do my podcast at 1800. I will be doing one later. I hate it here so much. All I want to do is leave for Canada. But I chose to do something else. Oh, hello. It's nice to have you in my chat. Welcome to my channel. As I said, I'm not normally so upset, but it hurts. All I want to do is leave. And nice to meet you, Mr. Bones. Nice to meet you, Javen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I had a decent podcast yesterday where we were partying, we were having a good time. Even though I'm being triggered by my PTSD, by what's going on outside, I still was able to get through it, but I'm just so miserable. I did follow my dreams. I followed my dreams to come to California. I hate California. That's why this podcast is called I Hate LA, Love Me Anyway. Hi, CT. I'm doing an early one because I'm trying to get my PTSD benefits, and the VA is just stalling and stalling and stalling. And it's like, well, we would like to look at this information. It's like that information was in my file already. It's in my file already. Like, you should have been able to pull up my file before you did the exam. Before the exam. Like, if you needed extra information, it was there already. And now they keep losing documents. They keep pretending like documents just vanish. And it's just everything is in my file. And all I want to do is just get my benefits and leave. Like, I hate living in America. You people burn down the forest here. That is not cool. That is not okay. That it's wrong. Why would I live in a city or a state or even a country that doesn't care about the environment? There are countries that care about the environment who need even more people to care about the environment. I want to move to Canada. And I know that it's it's not as easy as just boarding a, a plane and going all the way there. It's I have to board a plane there. I have to pay for lodging there, and I mean, you don't want to be that immigrant that comes to the country and says, "Okay, I'm fleeing oppression," but then I want to come to Italy. I want to come to Europe in general. You know, I'm just so hurt. I'm so hurt. All I want to do is leave America. It's America has done nothing but abuse me, and then they move me to this apartment where there's a woman with a megaphone every night. I don't understand why I have to live like this. I could live in another country where they just don't have food trucks. There's just no point. If you want to go to a restaurant, you sit in a restaurant. Why do I have to live in the one place with a food truck? And I know that that's incredibly stupid. It's stupid to talk about a food truck as if it's, a giant dinosaur or something like that. I I have PTSD. I don't have to apologize for how I feel about it. I hate that fucking food truck because it reminds me of my sexual abuse by the military. That is all. So thank you for the love in this chat right now, because I'm so miserable. I'm so miserable because I don't have to be here. I'm in a bit of a disagreement with the people who provide the voucher for me to live in this apartment, because they want more paperwork from me, and that's fine. You can ask for more paperwork from me. But I'm also saying to myself, I don't want another apartment, because that's how America traps you. That's how America, just holds you in place while you're just being abused. And I don't want that, because if I accept yet another voucher for yet another apartment, I'm signing on to another year in a place I don't know, and in a place where I have to start over again. My name is Ian Iliana. Welcome to my channel. I'm sorry to hear that. If you come to America, you should be treated with respect. I mean, after all, tourism is a big part of how states pay for things. And so if they're not treating every tourist as a precious commodity, then they're doing things incorrectly. I mean, it'd be nice if they treat you with respect, but that's too much to ask. But if they at least treat you like a precious commodity, that's a bit more realistic. I could fill out the paperwork and they'd give me a new apartment, and I can move to any other state, and I can even move to a state where things are a lot more quiet. But I don't want an apartment. I don't want to share my housing with anybody. I do not want to share my housing with anyone. After this experience of my neighbor had a crazy ex-girlfriend and that crazy ex-girlfriend couldn't reach him, so therefore she tried to break into my apartment to reach my neighbor. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. And I know that all I've been doing for the past couple weeks is I've been on X saying, give me my voucher, give me my voucher, give me my voucher. But after everything that I've experienced here, I just don't want it. I don't want to be rubbing elbows with Americans on anything. I I don't. I don't want to share apartment space. I don't want to see them in the fucking hallway. I don't want to be in a place where that even has a hallway. I want to be in a place that is either a house or fuck that, give me a tent and I will stay in a tent. I mean, I forget the name of that movie with Emil Hirsch where like it's Into the Wild or something like that, where he's a rich kid and he decides to go out into nature and he's like he's gonna show his dad, and the spoiler alert, the kid just fucking freezes to death within like a month of going out because he isn't trained in any of that. But you see, CT, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I have PTSD. I have PTSD. I cannot do things with other people. And I know that I'm at an age where it's, you better find a wife, you better start having kids, you better do that now, or you will never be able to chase after them. They will take off running and you will just say, I'll catch up with you later. You'll say that because you're old, and I understand that, and I understand that it's probably easier to meet someone while you're young and in a city. I don't want to meet any of these people. I don't want to spend the rest of my life with any of them. You know what I want right now is what CT said. I want a forest and a cabin. I want a cabin in a forest. I want my veteran benefits to go to a cabin in the forest or my own farm. My own farm, which I run. I have chickens, I grow my own vegetables, and I sell them at a farmer's market, which I don't even go to. That's what I want. I want little to no contact with Americans if yeah, I don't like, retelling the story because it's just bullshit. So I had a neighbor in a wheelchair, just doing his thing, living his handicapped life, and he had an ex-girlfriend, and things went sour, and he ghosted her, basically. And so she couldn't reach him. So she came to my door because I'm his neighbor, but bang on it, try to open the door handle, trying to break into my apartment. And I already have PTSD. I already have PTSD from military sexual trauma. I should be the furthest removed from any situation when women try and come to my place at all. And that's another thing that I have to talk about, is because they have to do room inspections to make sure, that you're not peeling the paint off the walls or whatever. And that in itself is an invasion. It is an invasion to do that because it's a bunch of females that come into my private space, and I understand that they're just doing that for. Oh, and congratulations on being 92. I appreciate all ages in my chat, and as I said, I'm not normally a so verbacious. So, oh my God, I can't even speak. Just I just want to leave. I I just I just want to leave. If I had my own house, if I had my own house, I could just say I have no guests. I have neighbors. If I wave at my neighbors, I wave at my neighbors. If I invite my neighbors over, maybe I invite my neighbors over. But they don't come on my property. They don't come into my place without my permission. And they have no reason to bother me because they have their own house. And I have no reason to bother them because I have my own house. Like, that's what I want. And I don't understand why the American government, after sexually abusing me at Lackland Air Force Base, can't just give me my benefits so I can either get a house here in America and say, get the fuck off my property, or they give me my money and I say, well, fuck it. I'll go to Europe or I'll go to Canada and I'll just spend my time there and be an environmentalist in a country where environmentalists actually get things done. There is no reason for me to stick around in California and then do a podcast like this. Well, I mean, I don't mind doing the podcast because somebody has to, but for my own health, I should, because I don't sleep. I mean, after the podcast, I went and I reviewed what I did. I did some singing there, and I couldn't remember lyrics. I couldn't. Every time I tried to do a lyric, it came out wrong, absolutely wrong. I could not speak correctly. I'm so sleep deprived because of the nightmares, because of my PTSD from military sexual trauma. And it doesn't help that when I should be sleeping, when I should be resting, I have a woman with a megaphone outside. And she's the only one in this neighborhood who has a megaphone. And she's the only one who, is throwing fireworks outside her food truck. And I have women trying to break into my apartment. I don't want that. I don't want that for my life. So as much as I want to get this voucher so I can maybe move to Vermont or South Dakota or something like that, some place where people just leave me the fuck alone, I don't want to live in apartment buildings. I do not want to live in apartment buildings because I cannot take another year of my neighbor has some drama going on, so therefore it has to spill it onto my domain, or I have to go through, we need to inspect your place. So could we have 3 or 4 women come into your apartment? It's like, no, just give me my veteran benefits so I can have a house, or I could live in a hotel room. I have no problem living in a hotel room. Thank you, CT. I appreciate you coming in such an early podcast. I'll have the regular podcast at 1800. So 6 p.m., you can check in then. Thank you for showing your support. I'm so upset because, everyone says, get a job, try and do something. And it's like, I can't work jobs. I can't go outside. I'm missing so much of my life. And I live in Los Angeles, which isn't a bad city. There's always events going on. I sign up for meetups and I never go. I never go because I have PTSD, and it would take too much for me to go all the way there and then have to deal with people. So I'm missing out on things. I paid for a movie ticket, and I don't even know if I can go to this movie because I just don't want to go outside. But I paid for a ticket, so I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable because I was just on the phone with the VA and I asked for a male operator, and you know, it should be a note in my records. Just if you're a female operator, just don't pick up the phone. Just transfer it to your male operator. And I should have that ability to do that, or I should have one dedicated case manager who takes care of these things. I'm sorry to hear that. Here I am going on and on about my own problems, and there are people who have it worse, and I understand that. I have to get out of America. I I hate it here so much. And I hate that I'm an environmentalist, I'm an engineer, and these people are holding me up by not giving me my veteran benefits. Because if I had my veteran benefits, I could be working on building the road, building the commute, doing gravity wells, just a life outside of rockets for a space program, just things that I care about. Yeah, America is. I know that people come here, and some people are successful. Some people are. I wanted to believe that if I joined the military, I would be successful, and I would find a space there. I would be surrounded by people who thought the way that I did, that wanted to see the best for the country, and that just is not the case. And I'm just super uncomfortable. I'm just super uncomfortable here. All I want to do is move to Europe, or move to Canada. Like, if you have ever been to Scotland or Ireland, it's, I mean, it's sure they've got towns, they've got cities, but they also have just fields of green, which you can walk through and just feel at peace. And it's cold, it's cloudy, it's moody. It's beautiful compared to this ugly fucking city where the the air is just filled with smog, and it's so dirty, and all the people here are on meth, and I hate it here so much. I hate LA. Love Me Anyway is the name of the podcast, because I came to LA and I wanted it to be better. I wanted it to be different, and I know you can tell from Italy, but Italy has its towns, it has its villages, but the villages, I'm pretty sure, at least to my estimation, just the people there. You know the people there. You are surrounded by family. You're surrounded by love. There's a rhythm to it. You want to go to a restaurant, you go to a restaurant. You want to sit in a cafe, you sit in a cafe. It's maybe not 100% safe everywhere, but you're not as stressed. Living in America, living in Los Angeles is nothing but grief and stress. I don't want that. I mean, my blood pressure is already super high right now, and that's why I said I'm going to do a podcast about this, because I'm I'm so upset, and I need this to be a record of This is what America does to you. This is what America does to veterans, because they could give veterans their benefits so that they could leave. It's like America failed you, America injured you. Here's the money, leave. Like, I spend most of my time fighting for a country that injured me, which is completely mental just to do something like that. But what else am I supposed to do? I currently live in America and America is destroying the environment. Am I supposed to just say, well, fine, it doesn't matter to me, I'll leave anyway? It's no, while I'm here, I have to talk about things like change.org/clear LA smog, my initiative to change the building materials that they use in constructing roads so therefore we could reduce pollution. I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. You know, the amount of adrenaline that pumps through my body because some random woman had to open her mouth. No, I have to get out of this place. I mean, for one, this place is a fucking cult. The entire place is a cult. You see, the way I know that is because I was eating a Golden Barrel Brewing Company. Lovely food, lovely food. But I was speaking to the male cashier and I ordered and gave him, you know, what I wanted for my meal. And the minute I did that, he went off the fucking shift. So by the time my food came out, it's just sitting in the window, and the only one there was the female cashier. And she took that as initiative to have a conversation with me, and it's just like, well, it looks like it didn't beep because I had like a little pager on me. And she's like, oh, it looks like it didn't beep. Is this yours? And it's just like, give me my fucking food. I didn't say give me my fucking food because that would be rude. I mean, look, I have PTSD, but I try my hardest not to take it out on people who don't deserve it. I'm upset, I'm angry, but if you don't deserve my ire, I leave you alone. And plus, I paid for that meal. So I just nodded, I grabbed my food, and I went on my way. But the whole idea of we're going to use food in order to force you to talk to a female American, like, for that, I'm sorry, just no, just no. So I love the food, you know, decent food, but I knew that there was something up with all of Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is a fucking cult. Like, I tell people, you know, if you're thinking about moving here for acting, if you're thinking about moving here for your music career, don't. Either stay where you are or move to a place where you're not going to be taken advantage of. Because if you move to Los Angeles, you're being taken advantage of. Because if you start in acting, unless you're the lead actor or something like that, you're going to be an extra. And if you're an extra, you know what that means? You're literally background scenery and you are a scarecrow. Like you are out in the sun pretending to be human, because you're not doing anything, you have no lines. And I know that television shows and films, they need that. But when you do that in Los Angeles, you're doing it under terrible conditions because you are breathing outside air for hours, full day of outside air. And the outside air here is terrible. There's an air quality index of like maybe 80 to 90 right now, which is bad. Because if it's 80 or 90 for every day, then it's a lot higher because you keep being redosed with the same amount of pollution. And thank you, Sir Bones. You're absolutely right. You know, every month, and you see that's the issue that I have. Every month it has been, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna get out of here, and then the next month comes and I'm still here. And so I don't really want to be homeless again. So I have to just give up on this voucher because it's the only way to get out of this system. Because if I stay in the voucher system, I'm always going to be stuck with, well, maybe next month I'll move. Maybe next month I'll escape here. And it's like, no. At the end of this month, it's called I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to go to Canada and see an immigration lawyer and say, no, 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 no. I'm being oppressed. I have to get out of here. And then just let my lawyers handle the rest of my benefits. Because I can't live here. I can't live in America anymore. I refuse to. I refuse to live indoors at all. I want to live outside in a tent with no neighbors and maybe, a police call box within like 50 feet from where I am. But I want to live outdoors. You see, there are things like the Aurora Borealis. I don't know if anyone knows that in the chat, but it's this spectacular light show. It's this wonderful thing where the atoms, that are in the air, just they turn into an ionized state and they start to glow. And there's this glow that just hangs in the air, and I've never seen it. I've never seen the Aurora Borealis. I've never seen the Milky Way. I've seen pictures of it. I've never seen it with the naked eye. I need to see that. I need to see that more than I need to have 3 square meals in a Los Angeles apartment. I need that in my life. Not to mention, I love Canadian music. I'm not going to deny that I think Canadian music is the best music on the earth right now. All my favorite artists are Canadian, and when I look them up, I'm shocked no longer because they're really good musicians, and then I read that they're from Canada and I say, okay, well, that's why. So I have to get out of here. And also, I am lonely. 100% lonely. But I don't want to share my life with an American who would look at something like the LA forest fires and say that's somebody else's problem, or the animals and the trees just don't matter. So I will not date an American after that. I couldn't do that. I want to date a hot French Canadian. That's what I want. So in order to do so, I gotta leave America. So at the end of this month, I'm not going for a voucher. I'm not going for any of it. I'm leaving for Canada. It's time. It's time. Canada is beautiful. Canada is beautiful, and they have several First Nations, Native Americans that are there, and that's who I am inside. I'm more comfortable in that sort of atmosphere than I am here in America. I'm trying to lower my blood pressure right now because right now my blood pressure is so high that I just want to pass out. I just want to pass out from just the stress. Hi, Clint. I'm still doing the 6 o'clock podcast. It's just I'm so stressed right now. I had to hop on here because I'm hitting yet another delay for my veteran benefits. They're asking for paperwork that they already have, and they can never give me a definitive answer, and I need my veteran benefits. If I have my veteran benefits, I can either buy a house or I can just move to a different country. Thank you. I need to hear that. Even if it's just words typed into a chat, I need to hear something hopeful because right now I feel I feel so hurt and so alone and so miserable because I hate Los Angeles. I hate it. I really do. I have to say that this is the worst city I have ever been in. Los Angeles is a terrible place filled with terrible people. And all I want to do is leave. And thank you, Clint, for fighting for veterans because it's not just about me. You know, I hop on here and I'm all about talking about my problems, but this is something that happens to every veterans. Even female veterans have to deal with this too. And I can imagine they deal with a lot worse because, I mean, sure, there is the rape and the sexual abuse, but before that, there is so much harassment, so much discrimination. And I know that with my PTSD, I should 100% hate everyone of that gender. It's like I don't hate them. It's just I can't be around you anymore after what happened to me. And Clint, I used to live in Texas and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't. Was every day perfect? No. Did I have to deal with some things I didn't like? Yes. But for the most part, I had people who were friendly. You know, I had people who knew my name. I keep going back to this memory I have of, you know, the local bar that I was in had a cornholing tournament one night. And I walked in here as this city slicker. And I looked at, you know, all these people, you know, just trying to shove hacky sacks into a hole. And I said, that looks so boring. So boring. I don't want to do that. And my friends were there and they were having beers and I was just I was that person who said, no, I don't want to play that game. That game is boring. I'd give anything, anything to go back to that moment and just be with my friends, having a beer and playing that stupid cornholing game because it was in a nice safe space. I had friends that respected me, friends that wanted me around, friends that, you know, invited me in, friends that defended me when people were rude or, you know, tried to hurt me. I had people who looked out for me. But I didn't appreciate it. I saw it as just who would want to play a game like that? And now that's all I want. All I want is that simple thing of you can relax. You can and I when I was in Texas, I was super weird. I was super weird. I had a beard down to here and my hair was wild and I looked like more of a werewolf than I look right now. And thank you, Clint. I appreciate that. You know, I'm just talking about, you know, what was going on with me in Texas. You know, I looked awful because I felt awful. You know, I with my PTSD, I didn't have a good opinion of myself. I didn't want to try. So I would show up at these bars, these clubs, and you know, I looked a mess, an absolute mess. But they still invited me in. They still treated me with respect and dignity, even when I was at my worst. And then I moved to this city where I've got people trying to break into my apartment and constant abuse every single night. All I want is no. I mean, when I say I look like a werewolf, like I I I really don't want to put that look down because I find beards and being like a true hairy manly man very appealing as a lifestyle. I appreciate it, because there's a freedom in that. There's a freedom in being athletic and virile. I love looking like this. I mean, I love my beard, and I know that I sing pretty high and everything, but I love my look, even if it's not as commercial as. But I'm not trying to sell people on my music. If you like my music, you like my music because you just like music. Like if you want to like my beard too, cool. But I missed out on Texas. I had a feeling that I I could have stayed, but if I had stayed, I wouldn't have had the confidence that I have to do music in such a serious way as I do now. Like when I moved to California, I took my music to a new level. So I can't go backwards, it seems. And I don't know which way is forward. In my head, I know that I really need a place that is quiet and relaxed and a little bit boring. But in my heart, I know that I just need more. But I can't connect to this city. I try and I try and connect with Los Angeles, and I can't do it. I refuse to. I agree. I need a small town, but I can't live in an apartment building again. Like I really just want to downsize and unplug from electronics. Like currently, I don't show it off, but I have like a dual screen going on here. Plus, I have a triple. So I have three screens going on right now. I used to have a television, but with my PTSD, I punched my television, so I'm out one screen. But I have three screens here, and that's ridiculous. If I need three screens to see something, I stop looking at reality. I and that's what I hate about my PTSD is that my PTSD is so severe, I'm missing out on reality. And the reality is there are plenty of attractive, romantic, beautiful people out there somewhere that I could be involved with. And more than that, I could find friends, just which I know is a lot to ask because friends takes a lot longer than just, hey, I showed up in your town, let's be bus buds. That doesn't. I don't drive, so I want to get an RV because an RV would make a lot more sense. And then you just live in an RV park. But living in an RV park is just the same exact thing as living in an apartment building. And I just have to just let out some air. This is ridiculous. And thank you, Clint. I appreciate you. I appreciate you in my chat. I just, my blood pressure is so high right now. I want to pass out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try and fight my way through this because I'm stressed and I want people to know what is going on with veterans. So when people say, just like the operator on the phone, thank you for your service. What does that even mean? What does that even mean if you say thank you for your service, but I'm miserable because of that service? I'm miserable. I'm physically injured. I'm mentally disturbed because of it. Good advice, Clint. Thank you. Like, the thing that disturbs me is that I like going outdoors and I like sitting under the stars and I want to see things like the Aurora Borealis. I want to see things like the Milky Way. And I can't see any of that living in Los Angeles. And I don't go outside because the sun is so strong here that it just gives you cancer. So I would be stupid to go outside. Stupid people go outside in Los Angeles because they mostly go out with, without sunscreen. So the only thing I can do is stay indoors. Plus, I have PTSD, so there's that. And one of these days, I just have to take it to myself to just go to the beach, just for no reason, but to just walk around outside because it's unhealthy to stay indoors as much as I do with my PTSD. It just makes things like my blood pressure go even higher because I'm not exercising. Before I joined the military, I was an Alvin Ailey dancer. I would take class there. I would spend my evenings dancing. Dancing. Now, because of the military, I have physical injuries, so I can't dance that often. I still dance, but like for very, very brief periods, and then I have to lay down because I'm in pain. I've given up so much. Thank you, Clint, and please check up on those that are important to you. I appreciate you coming into the chat. As I said, I'll have the podcast later, and maybe I would have collected myself by then. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now and just come back later. My blood pressure is just really high and I need to maybe walk around, get some blood pumping because otherwise I will pass out because I'm so stressed. Thank you, everyone. This is I Hate LA. Love me anyway. I'm Ian Ileana. Please take a listen to my music. And I will see everyone at my podcast later. And thank you, Sir Bones, for joining. Subscribe. Like I said, I'm very inviting and normally a little bit more upbeat, just a tad bit more upbeat than I am right now. But thank you, everyone, for coming in and showing your support. I appreciate the internet for doing something like that because it is very, very hard to be in America, a country that I hate so much right now. for burning down those forests and for treating veterans the way they have. Not just myself, but every veteran. Every veteran which has to fight for their benefits over and over and over and over again until the point that by the time you get it, you probably don't even need it anymore. And that it's wonderful, but I need my veteran benefits. And America and every other country needs me to be an ambassador that goes to other countries and talks about environmental issues. And I can't seem to do that on just the dime of what I have now. I have to be able to afford the travel expenses of doing that. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And when I come to Italy, I'm going to think of the kindness that you've shown me here because I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.